Let's try and finish this. I really hope I'll be able to finish Neo Scavenger this time around. You know, I want to note that even though I'm very close to like winning this game, I do have inclination to sort of keep playing it. It's just that it's the type of game that I don't feel is really worth like, recording so much. It's just like it's tough to show, basically the gameplay and such, but it's sort of tedious basically to show off like, scavenging constantly and stuff like that. I suppose that's sort of like, other roguelikes where like you're basically doing repeated actions over and over again, but it feels a bit off of this one, more or less. Let's put that in here. And, I really shouldn't be scavenging on the way like this, but whatever. I'm scavenging because I feel like it. That wire is, questionable at best. Sure, we'll pick this up. Put that there. What I really should be doing here is just like beelining straight for Camp Grayling. So let's go up, 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 up. I think it's, more or less this way. Up, 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 up. Okay, there it is, Camp Grayling. Now, I want to sort of like check this out. Basically, I was watching a Let's Play to see like a little bit about the ending and what options I should be looking for. But apparently, as the guy got closer to like Camp Grayling, he couldn't like scavenge or something. So it looks like I can scavenge this stuff easily enough. And there's Camp Grayling. I am thirsty. But we'll deal with that in a moment. We'll get some edible mushrooms here. Eat these edible berries. Everything's edible. Alright, so, Camp Grayling. The road on which you walk is a vanishing one. Besieged by dirt and grass, cracked concrete leads you through parted woods of pine and aspen, while dense ghost white mist whirls in and out of the urban darkness. The air bites colder here. A flagpole emerges from the gray canvas before you, flying no flag at its peak. You soon reach a great wall, made of lines of Jersey barriers defending a tall, sturdy gate, fortified by the wreckage of cars that once rammed the barricade. It seems that at one point, quite a few people became desperate to return to the base. You find their bones right where they left them. To one side, a derelict sign reads, Camp Grayling. The main gates of the military base are a daunting sight to behold, heavy with purpose and impregnability. While there's no shortage of purchase for climbing, the sheer number and variety of corpses heaped between the double barricades suggests that breaking into Camp Grayling won't be that easy. A fine mesh fence continues through the woods on either side of the gates, just clearing the tree line. To your right, the fence skirts a path that leads down to a body of water. To the left, it runs deep into the dark forest, foreboding and beckoning at the same. Alright, so first things first, let's go down toward the lake. The path opens up to a pitch-black ocean, silent and still, and the curtains of fog curling on its surface. Something about this place, with all the time you spent in the wilderness, nothing has ever been so utterly devoid of sound. An abyss within the water draws you in the longer you stare into it, and you can't shake the feeling that something is watching you back. The base's fence line follows the shore tightly. There's no easy way through here. You feel a chill as you turn away and head back to the main gates. It's only then that you notice the sign eaten by underbrush. Lake Margaret, this way. You politely disagree. Alright, so we're back here at the main gates. Now we can go into the forest. Walking between a dense spread of trees and electrified fence, you look for a place where you might climb and leap over. But it's as if the forest knows where Grayling's boundaries are, fearful of disobeying. Deep within Camp Grayling, eerie lights weave through the fog, punctuated by an occasional sound that's as much vaguely machine-like as it is animalistic. Soon you see it. 3 gigantic spear-like structures dotted with lights along the tops. Something dark crosses your view. You look down. A look of horror hangs on the wide-eyed, rotting face of a woman caught on the other side of the fence, as if trying to flee. The back of her head, neck, and arms are all charred to the bone. You see a handful of bodies along the inner grounds. Every inch of her skin, facing towards the base, is burnt to all hell. Beyond them, you see antenna-mounted pylons, wordlessly gloating over their likely handiwork, daring you to come. Further ahead, the end of the fence line turns inward, just before a vast and vile-looking swamp. Even the woods don't dare to venture in, and you'd be seeing duck trying to wade through it. Luckily, you may not have to. You've found several places where electrified mesh fence is partially cut. Any amount of prolonged contact will be pure agony, but with the right tool and every inch of your threshold for pain, you might just get through. All that's left is choosing. Alright, so at this point, basically I've got a few options here. Basically I can try to explore outside the fence, and if I do this, you'll probably run into another faction, but I actually don't want to find them, so we're going to basically leave this option, alone. I can look into the base grounds with either my, my scope on my rifle here, or the binoculars here. The pylons you see firing a perimeter beyond the fence are much more clear now. However, that doesn't help in identifying them. They almost look like radar towers, but they aren't moving. 3 white orb-like structures dwarf several buildings in the foreground, a small shed, an air traffic control tower, an enormous hangar, and a barracks. Beyond that, long runways stretch between even more hangars. You catch a glimpse of what they likely hold. Unmanned aerial vehicles, a couple of small, sleek drones sit here and there. Some crashed, others relegated to the mercy of the elements. The rest, you guess, likely sit safely inside. There's not a living soul in sight, the dead, however, are rarely available for company. So basically that's the base grounds. Now, if I want to, I could basically cut through one of the spots on the fence, but that'd be very bad to do right now, so let's assess our things. You rummage through your things for anything that might help. Alright, so at this point, something I really should be doing, I should be using these scraps of foil to basically make a bunch of armor. This Dogman First Coat has helped me for a while, but now it's time basically to pick up some stuff basically to do stuff. So we're actually going to leave Camp Grayling here. You decided to leave Camp Grayling alone for now. And if I go to my inventory here, there's access this thing. But what I'm going to do right now, we're just going to make ourselves some foil ponchos, because I need those to basically go into Camp Grayling. If you don't have foil ponchos, bad things are going to happen to you. I'm going to turn this all into small string. And there's a patchwork foil poncho. Apparently I took all my turns to make, but there's one. And now I'm just going to craft a couple more for the hell of it, because I can't craft them inside apparently, so yeah. Where'd all my foil go? Did I really use all my foil to make one of these? Alright, well, there's a bug of all, shapes and sizes. There's a patchwork foil poncho, but I can't make a second one, or third. I apparently had enough for these, but, oh well, I guess I don't have them. Alright, well, there's basically the patchwork foil poncho, and this is essentially an armor you can wear, basically to get through the base perimeter. If you don't have this on, bad things are going to happen to you, so, yeah. So let's use this. I'm basically going to go, follow the path towards the forest. Now, basically at this point, if I had more patchwork foils basically with me, I could put them in here and I can make use of them as I go along. But since I don't have them, I guess what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to wander in and see what I can do. But before I do, let's just put this stuff here and here. This stuff plays an important role basically here, so I want to have access to it. Alright, well, let's cut through one of the spots. With everything you've been through, the first few cuts through the electrified mesh fence chip off little from your resolve. But after 10, 20, 30, it becomes difficult to ignore the vicious tingling, the spreading sting, the sensation of skin pulling and twisting against itself. You sweat with anticipation before each cut and pause for relief after. The simple task of cutting a few wires has grown into an increasingly gargantuan task. Eventually, after a grueling test of your resolve, you decide that's it, that's good enough. A few kicks and the fence folds over. As the fence opens, you feel areas of white hot pain intermittently, and you recoil. The sensation disappears when you move from the opening, and soon you discover that the pain seems to come from within the facility. Fortunately, after some tentative testing, it appears your attire mostly shields you from it. So basically, this is from the patchwork foil right here. If you don't have it on, this won't basically it'll basically be a different text. But I'm not sure if it'll kill you or whatnot, so we're not going to do that. Alright, now it's basically time to enter Camp Grayling with foil. Now note, by the way, if you had a vehicle equipped, basically in the vehicle slot here, you wouldn't be able to take a vehicle into Camp Grayling. This is basically going to be a foot pursuit, so to speak. So you need to be able to run in here, and if you have a vehicle, you can't run, so you can't actually run in here with a vehicle, sadly. But whatever. Enter Camp Grayling using the foil. Bracing yourself, you push through the breach into the fence and start walking. 10 seconds later, all you felt are a few hot touches through the vulnerabilities of the foil covering your body, joints, holes, and so on. You keep your back to the emitter to protect your face. It's really working. The signal from the emitters are bouncing right off you. You stand in victory and raise your arms. You know you shouldn't, and you're facing the wrong way anyway yet. Is that all you got? You yell, and you don't regret it. When you regain your good sense, you make your way quickly across the field, still carefully keeping your face covered from the octagonal emitters of the turret. The hits of the microwave radiation may be small, but severe pain in small distances is still severe pain. Meanwhile, your protective foil is tearing with every movement you make. By the time you wear out your foil poncho's durability, you've cleared the turret's range. Most of the getup is shreds behind you, the rest, unusable, clings to your body. You pluck off the foil hat and shrug the rest off, no reason to look like an idiot anymore. Before you can go on, squeaking and servos echo from behind you, drawing your attention back to the fences. A belt-wheeled drone is positioning itself by your handiwork. With skinny limbs, the mesh is spliced and patched, and moments later the repair bot is trolling back into its access trench like nothing happened. Given how long it takes to cut through the fence, even without a turret at your back, it's clear that going out that way you came in would mean death most painful. You'll have to find another way. For now, the grounds of Camp Grayling await. The dense mist coils around the base's ethereal lights. Every step peels back to the white curtains, bit by bit. As you cross into the central area flanked by several looming structures, the three megalithic spears consider you from beyond them. On the far side of the base, like a hand considers an ant in its palm. As you near the center, a wall of mist thickens before you, reclaiming everything into obscurity. Your only sense of direction is culled from the array of lights shearing through the haze, forming eerie constellations you can almost reach out and touch. You press on. One by one, your steps reveal buildings, some small, some of the size of giants. You stand at the epicenter of Camp Grayling. A vast central area opens up before you, awash in blind white halogen and ghostly clouds, menacing, silent, and otherworldly. From the swirling gray, a moving shadows climbs out of their wombs and assume their true forms. Various buildings surround the central area. Your eyes are drawn to a nearby storage shed first. Farther out stand an air traffic control tower, a barracks, and a maintenance hangar. But there's one figure that demands more of your attention, as do its 4 siblings behind it. With heavy, bone-crushing thuds on the corpse-littered tarmac, they tread on their 6 spider-like legs. All too familiar octagonal emitters are mounted on their backs, and they're coming for you. So currently select a response, the VMADs are coming. So at this point I've got a few options you can see. I can try and attack the machines, and this is going to be a death sentence because these guys will just kill me instantly because they're like, microwave beam attacker type things. I can try to run for cover towards one of the surrounding buildings, which is basically what you'll do if you don't have like these other options here. Basically I've got this transponder here, and I've also got this like mechanical doll. These will basically help me with the encounters here, so let's see what this does for me, the transponder. You feel a brief wave of pain before you flip the switch on the orange transponder. There are no visible signs anything has changed, but immediately the VMADs stop and resume regular patrol around the area. Just like that, you're invisible to them. You look down at the device. The battery is draining, and that makeshift power cell isn't likely to last long. You make a note to turn it off when you get indoors, away from the Death Steel patrol. Time to move. So basically this transponder you get from the scout lets you basically walk around here without these guys being able to detect you. And it basically lets you walk around to like all these buildings. If I didn't have this like, orange box, I immediately would have to run toward a storage shed here. If I don't get to the storage shed, well, let's just say that, I die. If you try to go to like these other places, you die. That's the thing. But since I have this box, I can go elsewhere. So let's try going toward the control tower for now, because I know there's something you can do there. Momentarily safe from your mechanical pursuers, you hurry across the tarmac to the control tower. The control tower appears as a triangular enclosure at its base, red emergency lights spreading out across the walls and floor. You see no trace of the main lights or anything else in note. Hollowness haunts this place as much as it holds the rest of Camp Grayling. As the tower's spine, an elevator lies dead at the bottom of the shaft, mired in darkness. A spiral staircase trails along the wall, high up to where you can no longer see. Well, controlled tower landing basically is where I'm going right now. You find yourself on the first and only landing in the tower, up 7 stories from the ground. A spiral of red lights goes on forever into the almost endless dark below. Above you, you hear faint electronic noises. Before you is a door with the letters MER on its front. So at this point, if I want to, I can go to like, the ground floor. I can go into the MER door. I can go up to the control room. Let's go to the MER and see what it's all about. You try the door. It budges. Just enough for you to know that it isn't locked. It seems there's a barricade on the other side. You peer through the crack. All you see are walls of flickering yellow lights against the space of purest black. When you listen closely, you hear something. A rhythmic sound. A rising and falling. A cold chill runs down your back when you realize you're hearing breaths. Alright, so if I want to call out to it, but I don't know what's actually happening here, so let's just go like Scavenger, control tower. Maybe I'll get, a little bit of like, storytelling of what's going on. Basically, there's lots and lots of ways to die at Camp Grayling because it's like the last area. And this is a game where like the events, I really don't like the design of the events because they kill you so easily. But, whatever. Alright, so control tower. This is a building in which the staff could once control the entire base. Players can decide to take a look from the top of the tower, observe the vast amounts of land on each side of the tower. Here is also the place to use the flash drive from the scout, and where to look for the override codes necessary to activate the anarchy protocol, blah blah. Basically, Martha's army is the people who you meet outside if you go looking for them. Those skilled in the hacking can redirect the VVATs outside, granting the player clear passages into one other building. There's also something breathing inside the MER room, on the mid-level of the tower, but the doors are barricaded from the inside and cannot be opened. So apparently I can't get in there, I don't think, so let's just call out to it, I guess. You call out to whoever's inside. The only response: the rhythmic breathing stops. Outside, faint pounding of mechanical legs can still be heard, but nothing in here. After a few moments of quiet, the breathing resumes. Nothing else happens. So yeah, nothing can be done there. You close the door and try not to think about whatever's in there. Well, let's go up to the control room. The stairs end at a circular room surrounded by tall and wide windows, the very top of the control tower. Around the ceiling hangs an imperfect array of dimming, off-white lights, pinpointing each area of responsibility with stage-like gravitas. The monitors and keys at about half of the workstations appear active, all situated toward the center and the front. Binders and files stack high at the center table, in varying states of chaos. Outside, the mist seems to have thinned somewhat, just enough for you to see the ghost base over which you're standing. So if I want to, I can basically check out the view. I can use like the copy system down here, or I can use the medic here. So basically, stuff I know is that you can actually use skills sometimes, and skills can be really important in Camp Grayling. Like if you have the mechanics skill, for example, and you go to the storage shed, there's something you can do with it. So just to point that out, skills are very important here, and like in other counters too, basically. Let's check out the view. There's a lot to see around you. Which way do you look? Alright, so I can look like east, north, west, and south. Let's look to the east first. You peer through the dark glass towards the eastern skies. Traveling in a pack, dawn men make their way through the clearing in the woods. A few of them stop to drink from a pond. Then they lope back towards the rest. From the clear forms back in the blur of black shadows, they're heading west. Alright, let's look west. You peer through the dark glass towards the western skies. Nestled deep within a dense forest appears to be a few domes on the towers, smaller than a trio of giant spears on the base. They form a perimeter, but you can make out nothing between or beyond them. Alright, let's look north. You peer through the dark glass towards the northern skies. A thick fog forms a blockade of sorts with heavy clouds. The farthest out you can see is Lake Margareta, a massive body of colorless black water as still as glass. And we can look south. You peer through the dark glass towards the southern skies. The air clears up toward the south, opening a direct line of sight to the piebald landscape of forests, plains, and ruins. Details elude you, but the absence of human makes itself known well enough. Alright, let's go to the control room. And let's do our job and copy the system data here, I guess. With the small flash drive in hand, you search through the desk trying to find where it can go. Guided only by the stud's vague instructions, eventually you come across something that seems to work. Hopefully this won't trigger any alarms. You plug in a drive, and a nearby screen reacts almost in tandem with a flashing light on the drive's tail. File windows pop open and close too fast for you to make out what they see. Submerged by and re-emerging from the erratic copying, you see progress slowly crawl across. A few minutes later, all activity subsides. The monitor resumes as they were before. You unplug the drive, hoping that did the trick. So that's done. And if I want to, I can basically try and stop the VMATs up here if I want to. Let's try that. You look over the workstations for any sign of what controls those VMATs. Unfortunately, it looks as if they're coordinated from some other location. Most of the stuff up here is for human-operated vehicles. Though, that probably means base personnel have some way of interrupting automated operations. Maybe if you have hacking, you can do stuff here, but whatever. Changing your search accordingly, you manage to find Emergency Services Request System. Tower personnel can designate an area open to emergency services, such as fire or medical teams, which just might give you the space you need. However, given the base's layout, there's a few choices. You can probably open up the section between here and the maintenance hangar, giving you a chance to dart across it, but that's about it. All the routes are too exposed, putting you at risk. So I've wanted to make it very easy to get out to the other place, but no, leave it. We're not going to bother with this. Alright, I will. You finish inputting a sector and event code and hit submit. It looks like it went through okay, so you check the windows to be sure. After a few minutes to clear, the search patterns of the VMATs are adjusting to your submitted request. If you hurry down now, you can probably reach the maintenance hangar safely. Alright, well, there we go. The stairs end at a circular room surrounded by tall and wide windows, and the very top control tower, blah blah. Around the ceiling hangs an imperfect array of dimming off-white lights, pinpointing what each are responsibility of stage like Gravatus, blah blah. You can basically look outside if you want to. We're just gonna go down at this point. I'm gonna go down to the ground floor, and I'm gonna leave. Alright, so slipping outside, you have but a few seconds to make your next move before those VMATs pin you. The hangar and barracks are closest, flanking the tower, and across the open tarmac is a shed. However, even the nearest building are far enough away that you doubt you make it alive. So, again, I have this thing to make use of the transponder, so we'll make use of it. You feel a brief wave of pain before you blah blah, and now I can go on. The battery is draining, and that makeshift power cell doesn't like last long, blah blah, so whatever. Let's go toward the barracks next. Momentarily safe from the mechanical pursuers, you hurry across the tarmac to the barracks. Double bunks section the large hall into the quarters, with a single bunks and makeshift mattresses strewn around the ground. Given everything you've walked through on the base, you've nearly forgotten what most of the rest of the mission looks like outside the wilderness ravaged by the Abaddon. This place looks almost lived in, if it weren't for the dust. Many of the overhead lights are dead, but there's enough for you to make your way through the mess. A handful of beds are immaculately made. Near the entrance, a set of file cabinets have been dragged in. And at the other end, a bathroom. Alright, well, let's look around, I guess. We'll basically, go to, let's go to the beds. You search the beds for anything worthwhile, but find no valuables. Instead, it seems that only ghosts have lived here, not the living. The living keep tokens, only the dead stop caring. You reach a perfectly made bed. On the hunch, you flip up the mattress, a torn page from a diary hides under it and reads. The others can call me OCD and laugh all they want. Discipline is a part of our training, and whatever infrastructure crumbles away, that's my backbone. Some things are worth fighting for. Isn't that the reason we're still manning this base, to maintain some sense of order in this chaos? Sean never mocks me, though, even without words, all he says is I love you. You replace the page. Let's keep looking. You continue on through the disheveled beds until you come across another neatly made one. Under it hides another diary page. I get more breaks now than I used to, much as a part of me hates it. I have a duty, just like everyone else here. I shouldn't use him as an excuse, and neither should they. I make the best of it, though. More time to write. More time to hide it from prying eyes. He's always so quiet when he's with me. I feel such ease around him, and that's becoming a rare thing these days. I keep thinking it couldn't possibly get worse, and that it does. There's talk of abandoning the base altogether, but how could we? People are depending on us, on me. Replace the page. Alright, so check the remaining made bed. At a third tidy bunk, and as expected in our entry. Major. Major said it was a done deal. We're running thin as it is, and there's less and less to protect up here. People are fleeing to the south, but I fought hard with him on it. Eventually I convinced him, instead we'll just be going on a supply run. No more than a day. We'll protect Crawford County yet. I know how dangerous it is to cross the woods. He's always quiet in my arms here, but not elsewhere. We can't take the risk. Anyhow, it's only for a day. I'll leave half of my pennant with him, and all of my love. It's only for a day. It's only for a day. An ID card falls when it folds. And here's an ID card. Now, this base ID card, I think you can get some identification from it somehow, but whatever. Alright, so that's basically, all the beds basically searched. I examined the beds. Let's look through the file cabinets, I guess. You shuffle through various schematics, building plans, base layouts, and the drafts and drafts of each mixed together. Personnel files add some variation to the jumble of records, taking away more of the hours to sort through. You come across one file from the Corporal Stanley Chisholm, dishonorably discharged. You're not sure why he stands out from the rest. You can't place him, but there's a lingering recognition there, like you sight a face and a pen on it. You grab one of the more interesting documents before moving on. Now, I want to note, by the way, if you're in a barracks like this, and you go with, like, like Hatter, for example, you'll actually get, like, a different dialogue stuff from here, so it's worth pointing out that, that you'll basically get different stuffs, basically, here. Alright, I need to take this around, so we're just going to put that right there. There's basically blueprints for the VMAT systems. And finally, let's head for the bathroom. At first, it seemed like the communal bathroom's light had been turned off, but as you approach, you see a flickering outline along the inner fringe of the doorframe. You stand in front of it, listening to the quiet click, click, click of the light, a testament to how quiet it is in here, despite the space's potential for echoing. You can't explain it, but you shiver when you reach the door. It's locked. Alright, well, basically, if you could, like, open this up, you get, like, a little bit of information in there, but I don't have locking picking, so no good. Yeah, if I examine the beds again, by the way, blah, blah, if I want to, I can keep looking and all that. But, it's just the same stuff again, so I'm not going to worry about that. So let's just leave. Slipping outside, you have about a few seconds to make your next move before the VMATs pin you. The tower is closest with the hangar beyond that, and across the open tarmac the shed. However, even a tower is far enough away that you'll doubt you make it alive. Well, let's use the transponder and we'll try and make it to the hangar. Well, it's just the same message again, so let's go off to the hangar. I could go to storage shed, but you know what? If you're actually going to play this game, I actually recommend you do it to storage shed. This is something to know about this game. I've actually left a lot of the content unexplored in this game, and this is like a game you can basically play through and win again, and get like different endings. And it's actually something I know. If you actually want to experience this game, and all its worth, you can actually go through it and get like these multiple endings and learn a lot about the game. But I'm just going to head toward the maintenance hangar here. Momentarily safe from your mechanical pursuers, you hurry across the tarmac to the maintenance hangar. Alright, so you stand in awe of the impossible space unfolded inside the hangar. The walls and rafters seem to recede as you approach, easing into the shadows of infinity. You shudder to think what was once housed here. No mere aircraft, surely. Something much bigger. Whatever it is, has left the grand vacuum meekly filled by a small unmanned aerial vehicle in the center. Evidently midway for the repairs, dwarfed by the pyramid of ghostly light in which it rests. Nearby, a maintenance hatch on the floor lies open. And I want to note, by the way, I never actually used a strange mechanical doll. So you can actually use that, but I didn't actually use it, but whatever. It's basically there if you want to note it, I guess. Alright, so basically if I want to examine the UAV, the unmanned aerial vehicle, I can basically go down to the hatch, but we're just going to, do UAV first for now. The lone UAV looks to have been sitting here in disuse for some time. It's much larger up close. White-tipped wings extend out from a once shining body that is the color of onyx, with a thin flourish of the blue on each fin on its Y-shaped tail. A weapons bay at its heart lies exposed and empty. A side panel hangs open, a clear void to the circuitry for something flat and rectangular. There's a shipping crate here, with a packing materials cushioned as circuit. Discounting the missing parts, it doesn't appear to be damaged. You see no reason the drone was singled out from the others on the base either. Alright, so let's go to the hatch. And before I do, I'm going to take a swig of water because I'm getting thirsty. I'm having to do a lot of speaking here, so bear with me. Lots and lots of talking. Alright, so let's go down to the hatch. Tiny green maintenance lights lead your eyes deep into the earth, down a tight crawl space beneath the hatch. A rush of air drifts upwards, smelling of silicon and copper, of thermoplastics and tin, and of the beginnings and the ends. You see nowhere else to go but into the darkness. You carefully ease yourself down, catching one last glimpse of the surface, in case it's your last. Let's climb down. The concrete tunnel grows intent with sealing you in, tightening its grip around you with each rung you descend. You lose count of how many times your knees and elbows scrape against the sides. You reach a point where neither up nor down seems to have an end, and you're convinced you've found yourself a new kind of hell. but like so many times before you press on, there's too much at stake. You lower your feet expecting to find more ladder, but it's a floor that meets your expectation. The air feels entirely different from deep down warmer, more arid. You step off the rungs expecting a whole other world. You walk forward, and blue-white lights rise like an ancient tide. On concentrate rings around you, rows upon rows of 6 feet high CPUs extend as far as out as the hangar above. You hear the endless exhale of vents and internal fans, the LED lights cycle and flicker and stare. In front of you, a path leads straight down to a curved desk on a raised platform, immaculately crafted and beholden only to the great black mirror before it. You seat yourself on a black leather chair in reach of a sleek-looking keyboard, anchored to the desk center. The giant monitor looms high ahead. Against its onyx abyss, pale white text blares on intelligible sequences. A jitter wipes it all away, until letter by letter, a single word takes its place. Black-white. Black-white online, a voice says. At the bottom of the screen, the outline of a thin rectangular stretches across. Pixels of white start to fill in its inner void, left to right, with the slowness of nightfall. Smith credentials remain active. Unsealed are 1.16 exabytes of data. What will user Smith review? The base's artificial intelligence, Black-White, idles while a blinking cursor beckons for a command. The keyboard on the desk shimmers in a screen's dim glow. Everything you've come across in your journey through mission floods your mind. Every question, every puzzle, every mystery. Along the monitor's lower edge, the status bar steadily continues to fill. You may not get all your answers. Now, basically, if you're here, you can get some answers like on like the stuff that's going on here, and like you can ask like a whole lot of stuff. From another like Let's Play that I basically watched, I'll note that someone basically went and created Philip Kindred, the Black Ghost apparition that you're basically running from. They also I think went after Camp Grayling and Black-White. So I'm gonna do a little bit different, and we're gonna try and a little bit other stuff basically in here. So let's try and do some stuff in here. Let's go with like the ID card, I guess. Or actually, what can I do here? I actually want to follow like the stouts instructions. So let's try and figure out how we can do that. Basically, you can sort of follow the stouts instructions to basically win the game for them, I guess, so to speak. I'm at the ending basically at this point. You know what? I don't think it says anything with the stout. Never mind. Don't read any of that. Don't worry about that if you want to, I guess. Alright, let's just query a little bit here, I guess. So let's query about this ID card. You're at a home screen of Grayling's subterranean AI Black-White. What will you query? With the ID card in your hand, you find a thin chip reader on the far side of the keyboard and insert the chip in first. Recognize new user, it says. Staff Sergeant Lydia F. Rise. Please enter password. Alright, so you can put in Sean, password 1234, or Lydia. Let's go with Sean for the first one. Staff Sergeant Lydia F. Rise credentials active. Welcome, Lydia. The status bar along the bottom of the screen pauses and partially resets, buying you some time. Oh, that's cool. So I can actually use this basically to stop the thing from doing stuff. Basically, as you take time here, Black-White's task process will basically continually go up, and at 100%, it'll basically blare alarms at you. So apparently, this is one way to basically avoid that. Cool. The progress bar continues its march as Black-White returns to the home screen. So that's good to know. You can use that basically to reset the stuff there, I guess. But let's just look at some other stuff in here, I guess. So let's activate. Let's query about New Earth Ostricon. Basically, this is what Neo Scavenger is all about. Black-White's glassy face seems to darken. New Earth Ostricon, it says. The NEO was an online repository of information concerning the Acolyte, which rapidly gained popularity worldwide between the years 2014 and 2017. The colloquial term wiki comprised of supposedly eyewitness accounts of paranormal events, conspiracies, and fringe science discoveries. Entries included times and dates of sightings. All users had editor rights and were free to contribute content, which grew the website exponentially. 10 couriers were with administrative rights to the NEO have been identified in the U.S. After a security violation was traced to the curators, various agencies of the United States government formed a task force to apprehend these individuals on the charges of espionage. The NEO was subsequently shut down, although the users repeatedly created mirror sites to keep it active. You were querying NEO as Black White's progress bar ticks away, so basically sticking away here a little bit, but whatever. So you can basically ask a little bit about stuff here. So, you know, you can like ask all about the different things. Let's ask about the perpetrator. Black White plays a recording on Modder. It shows only a bird's eye view of a diner out in the middle of nowhere, but it's picking up audio. You hear forks and knives cutting against plates and two people locked in hushed conversation. Because they can't do that, a male voice says. Corporal S. Chisholm MOS 15E appears at the bottom while he speaks. I didn't sign up to be a spy on my own people. But you don't have proof, says unidentified speaker. You can't put it on Neo, sure, but who's going to believe baseless conspiracy allegations? Maybe, Chris Holmes seems to think in a moment. You know, maybe I do. I have an AAV flight plans, transfer schedules. Their damn mainframe is under our base. There's a pause. I could get in. There's a long silence. Clicking and mirrors continue in the background. The unidentified voice replies. You sure you want to do that? Yeah. He doesn't sound sure, but then his confidence renews. Yes, I'm sure. Beast doing this shit another day. Okay, says unidentified. Don't do anything yet. Let me talk to some people. There's another pause. Then unidentified continues. You're going to need some help. The recording cuts out. Well, I can basically continue the NEO inquiry, I guess. Let's do that, I guess. You're querying the NEO as Black White's progress bar ticks away. Well, let's look at the, the security violations, I guess. The security incident designated security violation occurred at 40-28-24 North, 1-1-1-56, 40 West. Black White begins. Evidence of two perpetrators discovered. Investigators confirmed that one of the two had TS-SI-M-TK-L clearance. The violation involved the following components: a comparison algorithm, a native dataset, and a foreign dataset. A fourth component, and the output of the algorithm itself, has been redacted from the Black White and all storage devices. Alright, so if I want to, I could basically ask about the violation components, but I'll note this is going to basically fill this up to 100%, so you're going to see what happens when it gets this to 100%, I guess. Query violation components. The comparison algorithm was developed by the National Security Agency. Its purpose: to analyze vast amounts of communications data in order to extrapolate common patterns and deduce the presence of national threats and terrorist plots prior to execution. Input can take the form of multiple formats in any and all known human languages. Coded communications can also be deciphered at runtime. The output of the algorithm includes lists of persons of interest, potential targets, possible scenarios, and suspected factions coordinating attack. The native dataset includes CNCI MDR datasets. Foreign datasets estimated to be many times smaller than the native dataset. Additional information unavailable. Unable to connect to MDR. Alright, so let's return to the home screen at this point. The progress bar continues to march as Black White returns to the home screen. With mere seconds to spare, you can only watch as Black White's status bar completes its march 97, 98, 99. Your time has run out. So apparently that, we're going to 100% while I wasn't looking, but whatever. 100. The screen flares blinding white. Unauthorized access detected. TS-SI-M violation. Escalating to condition Charlie. Alarm scream through the air and relays spin around the room. Terminal inputs disabled. Please vacate the server room immediately. Unintelligible code interspersed with words like lockdown appear on the screen. With fury blasting throughout the base, you knock back your chair and run desperately for the exit. You escaped the desk in the last possible moment. Walls of glass shoot up from the ground and a sealed terminal, sending up your back foot and throwing you against the floor with a hard and painful thud. On your feet again, you keep running. You don't look back. The next thing you know, you return to the concrete shaft, squeezing back up towards the surface. One by one, the emergency lights below you shut down. Darkness wells up from the depths of the earth, and you're caught in its warpath. What will you even do? The VMADs on the surface will be out in full force, and who knows what new horrors await alongside the ADS turrets and energized fences. But there has to be a way to escape. There has to be. Camp Grayling's war cry shatters the air. Alarm lights pulse red, drawing in the walls of the hangars to surround you. Its vast emptiness only serves as a paper fortress. Your options are few. Crossing the hangar, you make your way to the side door. The VMADs have gained reinforcements and they dominate the grounds, patrolling at a faster pace than before. The thought of slipping past them crosses your mind, but as if the base's sensors catch wind of it, the VMADs all immediately turn to face you. You slam shut the door, not on foot. Nearly lost in swellings of red, the cone of pale light still directs your eyes, the AAV. You estimate that you can just fit into the empty weapons bay. You'd be shielded from the VMADs, but they wouldn't. But would they outweight you? Maybe this thing could still fly. Could you escape inside it? Even so, no machine can run without all its parts, and the square absence in the drone's exposed side panels hangs agape. Is that crate holding the right part? The hangar door hums to life, creeping open. Your time may be up. Pulling the PCB from the packing material, you return to the AAV. Alarms ring, seconds slip away. The VMAD's death squad awaits hangar doors with predatory impatience. A prayer trickles in your throat. It's just you here, you and death. With the PCB slide in, the drone breathes once more. A shrill whine of life in its engine lunges, it throttles up. Enduring sections of the hangar door groan through the decades of rust as they ease open, VMADs now marching through. You climb inside the drone. It starts gaining momentum across the floor of the hangar, closer and closer towards the deathly gaze of the VMADs. You dare not hazard a look, and you can hear the crushing steps go louder, and then distant again as the AAV taxis outside. It turns almost in place, and then catapults down the runway. You take flight. The AAV sails through the mist, higher and higher above Camp Grayling. Frost seeps into the air. Without any way to fasten yourself, you push hard against the sides, a ghost inside a machine, clinging desperately to its shell. The drone levels out before reaching much of the altitude. It turns. When it feels safe to poke your head up, you see that you're head south. North past the tail fins, you see a small base silhouetted in red emergency lights. The free spirits of Grayling standing helpless against the escape of its prey, and the endless darkness swallowing up all of Michigan. You lie back again and look up through the dense clouds as you stars you cannot see. And that's it. You start awake. No, it hasn't all just been a dream. You're still sitting in the AAV as its payload when a sudden jerk wakes you from a slumber of trauma-inducing exhaustion. When you look out of the top, all you can see of your former surroundings is a lake of mist far to the north. Below, the great black swamp. To see it sprawl from east to west, an antithesis of life, the necrosis of civilization, its haunting view beneath you. Another crack accompanies the smell of burning plastic as you duck into your compartment again. The engines are failing, and there's a ragged whistling noise coming from the tail. The drone is no longer flying, but it's in a controlled fall. You hazard a peek outside. More and more of a swamp passes below. You glide past the rotting lands, the sinking roads, and the crumbling buildings. Toxic fumes, but you're falling too fast to make a full crossing. You duck inside and brace for the inevitable. The drone hits something hard. The witnesses rebound, ringing in your ear for a moment before splashing and grinding through what sounds like racks of water. Parts rip away, and sludge sprays into your hole from the openings they leave. The fuselage twists right suddenly and flips over, throwing you hard into the debris-filled pool. Branching metal and cracks of composites echo over the next mound as the drone becomes just another part of the desolated landscape. In a fit of coughing, you crane your neck away from the sludge and pull yourself weakly into the embankment. For several wheezing moments, you cling to the earth, gathering your senses. After more coughing, you plant a hand on the cold mud, pushing the ground away, and you stagger to your feet. A brisk, acrid wind bites through your soaked clothes, and you turn to face away from it. Ahead, miles of lifeless, muddy terrain punctuated by toxic pools and shelves of old buildings. And beyond that, Indiana. So, my survival time is 14 days, 13 hours, and 43 point hours. That'd be like, what's like, 43 point hours of minutes. That'd be around maybe, you know, 12, 13, 14 minutes, I guess. But whatever. So basically, as you can see, there's like, you know, all the stuff that, you know, basically happened with me. All the stuff I basically did. Alright, well anyways, that's basically the game. Now, if I want to, I can basically continue. And what's really good about this, I guess, is that it basically goes back to your last save. So if I want to, I'm going to try and go back up to Camp Grayling and get more information. But I figure, like, you know, I've shown off, you know, what this game's really all about at this point. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to save and quit. And essentially, that's what this game's all about. I hope you've basically enjoyed Neo Scavenger. Maybe you'll want to pick it up yourself to basically see a little bit more of the content yourself. I want to note that to like the west of, like, you know, the Gyro like Cryo Center, the Zomzoms area, for example, there's like a couple or a few more points basically you can explore, and there's basically a lot more stuff you can actually do in this game if you want to. But I think I've shown off enough of it. This has been 51 minutes, and you know that's pretty much long for an episode. So take care. I'll be moving on to the next game.